Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at some treasure map teams for you guys to take on the new treasure map SABO that will be starting on May 18th. And I gotta say, this particular treasure map, it's not for the faint of heart, I'm not gonna lie. Now, with Anniversary being in full-fledged, the 8th Anniversary treasure map is usually a pretty competitive treasure map, as lots of people have been summoning. And in today's video, I do have like 3 bunches of teams. The teams I'm going to be using, which are based around speed. Some buggy teams for you guys that don't like to sort of spend gems on treasure map, and you want to maximize your drops. And then finally, a bunch of teams that don't use like the latest characters. Now, that was actually pretty hard to do, and I'm going to talk about it as we sort of go through it. But I feel like most people have summoned on these banners, and if you have, you want to bring those high-end characters, those newer characters, to maximize your point gains. But if you are enjoying the video, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. Let me know how you like these treasure map videos, if you want me to sort of scrap teams, or if you like the accessible teams, what you guys want to see moving forward after the 8th anniversary. If you are new as well, hit that big red subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Belt it for me. Helps your boy out a lot. Like 55% of you guys aren't even subs, so like, help a brother out. Hit the subscribe button. Most importantly, enjoy the video. Let's dive into the content. Alright, so before we begin, I want to give a huge shout out to the treasure map planner. I will leave a link in the description below for you guys that want to go over there and build your own teams. But as you can see, these are the accessible teams that I have put together, and they don't use any of the new legends, they don't use any of the new batch, and they don't even use like Big Mom or Marco. I do have the Big Mom Marco batch in there, but like with the release of all the tickets, I feel like a lot of people have stuff like Brooke or Frankie. I haven't actually even included Brooke or Frankie. That's like not out of like, that's just more out of coincidence. But let's start over here on Chopper, as Chopper is the easiest of the bosses. On stage 1, all of your characters get 5 turns of cooldown. It's 500,000 HP, 4,000 attack. He gives you a full board of empty block and bomb orbs, 8 turns of attack down, and 3 turns of a 30-hit barrier. Very, very annoying. And then has full immunity for 99 turns. So the team that I sort of put together here is utilizing the double buggy combination and the Big Mom strat. We have Odin. Odin's the character they kind of want you to bring here because he can remove 3 turns of barriers. That 30 times is going to be a lot. Like, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of hits. So using something like Odin to remove the 3 turns of barriers is going to help you guys out. With the combination of Ashura Doji, he can remove 5 turns of attack down, and then 3 turns thanks to Robin. Robin can also change bomb or block orbs into matching orbs, and changes adjacent orbs of characters into matching orbs as well. So that way you can actually do something like that. And that way, like, everyone's just getting, like, nice chunky orbs. With Buggy and his level limit break, he actually gives an orb buff as well, which means Ashura Doji, you're giving an attack buff. He's going to hit fairly hard. You might have to change his team a little bit, and then, like, bring Odin as your captain, and then do some shenanigans there, if the scaling is a little bit higher. But I do like to run Buggy in this first comp, and that's sort of what I'm recommending there. On to Shanks now. Shanks is the second boss, the Anniversary Shanks. He gives 5 turns of cooldowns to fighters, strikers, and powerhouse characters. On stage 3, Shanks has 1.2 million HP, 6,000 attack, gives you a full board of badly matching orbs, 5 turns of special bind, 5 turns of damage reduction on himself, as well as threshold. Now, the team they kind of want you to rock here is Kaido and the lead performers. Obviously, these are accessible teams, so we're not including Kaido and the lead performers. So, to get around the damage reduction and the threshold, we have this Reiju. She's really, really good. She's a free-to-play character. She was 5 turns of percent damage reduction and threshold. She can get around that very, very nicely. Treasure Map Sanji is a fighter captain, which makes him very, very nice to hybrid up with something like this Marco, the new Marco. Because we are rocking a full fighter team with Marco too, being a super class unit, you can actually use his super class on turn 2 to wave clear, get his auto trigger on the final stage as well. And that way you'll have an attack boost, you'll have a chain boost, and then with Sanji you have an orb boost as well. With Jinbei, Jinbei can remove the special bind. He's another free-to-play treasure map character, and he also gives color affinity to strength, as Shanks is a dex unit. We have Luffy here. Luffy can remove badly matching orbs, which is really, really nice. Another free-to-play unit. And then finally, another free-to-play unit being Senior Pink is literally just a hit stick. He's a fighter. He gets super classed. You can use the super type of Sanji to like extend your orb and attack boost. You should be absolutely hunky-dory here. Like, I don't see this team having many issues because it's all back into damage, and Senior Pink's going to be hitting the hardest. 4.1 times multipliers, not terrible as well. So that's the team against Shanks. Fortunately, like, unless you're using the lead performers or Kaido, it's going to be pretty tricky to put that team together, if I'm completely honest with you. As for the next fight against Luffy, Luffy will turn into either a Sai or a Int unit on the final stage. Strength, Sai, and Int characters get their cooldowns, as well as having 1.2 million HP and 6,000 attack on the final stage. Luffy will roll back your cooldowns by 1 turn. He has 5 turns of paralysis, 5 turns of defense up on himself, and he does 5 turns of resilience. So this Katakuri is built for this fight. Katakuri removes 1 turn of cooldown for your fighters and your powerhouse characters. He also reduces paralysis by 5 turns, and he reduces defense up by 5 turns as well. The idea they want you to do here is literally just bring characters that can, that are good for, the Big Mom and Marco batch. So, like, basically Big Mom and her batch, and then, like, run a hybrid, Marco with Big Mom. But we're just bringing our friend Big Mom here. She has the end of turn damage to get around resilience. Akanu's going to be our orb booster, as well as giving us a full board of orbs. And then we're just basically relying on him being a side character, unfortunately. The rest of the team here, I've just put 3 free-to-play characters that are getting boosted here. You can literally just put whatever you want. Like, it doesn't actually matter. Most of these guys aren't actually getting cooldowns from Katakuri, unfortunately. But he will give cooldowns to Big Mom, which is pretty much all you're going to need, really. Like, Big Mom's special is so powerful. It's really all you're going to need. Akanu's just a very good captain. But if you guys do have something like Marco, or if you have your own Big Mom, if you have some of the Big Mom batch, I would definitely include them here. Moving on to Nami, Hancock, and Robin. They are a quick unit, funny enough. They give fighters a free spirit and slasher characters cooldowns. They put up 8 turns of despair, which will go down to 5 with sockets. 4 turns of special silence. They make 2 turns of unfavorable, like all orbs are badly matching, like type orbs. And then they put up percent damage reduction for 4 turns at 90%. So very annoying. Now, this particular fight is obviously built around Luffy and his batch being Sanji and Zoro. Sanji, Zoro, Luffy basically counteract everything you need to here. So you can use them if you need be. But we're not including them today, are we? So there's always that, which is always fun. So Robin is going to be our special one removal, which is really, really nice. But if you have this Mr. 1 support, you can also use that on Robin. We're using Bon Clay as our leader. I know a lot of people summon for Bon Clay. He's a very, very sought-after legend, especially for stuff like Kazuna, so I know a lot of people have actually searched for him. So hopefully you guys have picked him up, because he's very, very good. He can be a chain locker. He can be, he can turn into a dex type as well, and he's a base stat booster. If you want to here as well, not if you want to, what I would 100% do. Alright, so that's a little bit better. Bring a Luffy as a friend captain. Like why the hell not, right? Like, Luffy just helps out so much to get around stuff like the despair, which is very, very annoying. The Sanji's great at removing the damage reduction, which is great. He's very, very good. You can run 2 Bon Clays, as you showed me in my initial, build. But we have some despair removal here with, Sasuke. He's also an orb booster as well. You could probably just take Sasuke off now that we just, looked at having this, this Luffy on the team, which would work really, really nicely. If you have this Mr. 1 support too, you don't even need Sanji, because you can get rid of the damage reduction that way. Then Koala, she's just our attack booster. She has type advantage too, which is great. She's a fighter. It all works out pretty hunky-dory there. So this team here shouldn't have any issues, to be honest. All these teams are just quite slow, unfortunately. But if you are looking for some, point-boosted teams, these are the ones for you guys. Moving on to Koala. Koala is the boss. She gives cooldowns to strength, dex, and in characters. She gives you a full board of block slots. And then she does locking slots for 1 turn, and then damage nullification for 1 turn. This is just stage 2, by the way. Very, very arrogant. This right here is so arrogant, because the only boosted character that can remove damage null is Pudding. The rare recruit Pudding that came out with Big Mom and Marco. So, unfortunately, we're just going to stall a turn here for this particular team. And then on stage 3 against Koala, she gives you 6 turns of attack down, 6 turns of paralysis, clears buffs, and resets everything to normal. And then she has 99 turns of full immunity. So, obviously, the character they want you to bring, the highest treasure map booster, is the waifus. They reduce cooldowns by 1 turn. They remove 8 turns of attack down and paralysis, which is going to be very, very nice here. So you can use them on the final stage. You get color affinity. You have overheal. It all works out super hunky-dory. We've also got Koala. Koala's going to be the leader for us here. I just put Koala here because Koala vs. Koala is actually pretty funny to me. If you have any of the new legends, though, this is where you want to use them. This is the spot. Whether you have Luffy, whether you have Ace, if you have Ace Yamato or Luffy, this is where you want to use Ace Yamato Luffy. If you have the waifus, obviously bring the waifus, but Koala's a free spirit captain. You could probably use something like Treasure Map Sanji as well. He's another option for you guys as well, but Koala, she has this interesting mechanic where she, can extend your HP buff, which I thought that might work a little bit nicely with the Hancock unit. You can use her on stage 2 as well for color affinity, depending on the color as well, because the waifus do color affinity as well. Once you get to the final stage, basically the waifus take care of everything. So stage 2 is the bit of the tricky one here. So we just have to stall a turn, unfortunately. Past the first turn, you have overheal. Koala can give you a lot of healing as well. And then on the second turn, You can use Kawamatsu to rotate the block orbs and lock them. Give yourself an attack boost as well. Probably use Kawamatsu on turn 1, to be honest, because you want the clock buff, so that way you can carry it into the next stage. Fortunately, you'll lose the attack boost when you are attacking stage 2, but I'm pretty sure you won't actually need it, and having the orb boost on the final stage will be a little bit nicer. You can also use ulti here as well. I guess maybe save ulti for the final stage, actually, to be honest, because if you do like a whole bunch of overkill damage here, and then on the final stage you just pop ulti, you might be able to kill for like the first couple of turns, like, you know, especially in the early stages. Ulti's basically here. She's not boosted, but she gives 1.4 times points. So she's very, very good for this particular team, as it's more of an accessible team. Ace is the attack booster. SABO is literally just here because he's SABO. He does chain boundary, which is kind of cool, I guess. It just kind of is what it is, unfortunately. But this team should work fairly nicely. I don't know how long these teams will last for, but as I said, this particular part wasn't the tricky part to build for. This particular intrusion fight against SABO was, though. 8 turns of cooldown for your Free Spirit, Strikers, and Powerhouse characters. On stage 2, you get 10 turns of Despair on your captains, 1 turn of Special Reverse for your second and third row, and then there's 99 turns of normal attacks only, as well as immunity to everything but defense down, I think that is, or like everything but defense down. I'm not 100% sure. But 10 turns of attack down, like Despair. Like, they want you to bring Luffy here, which is very annoying. Plus, they also do like cooldowns, like reverse the cooldown, so that's very, very annoying as well. So you can use the waifus here, and I have used the waifu friend captain, as on stage 3, you get 8 turns of bind on your middle row. So using that super type is going to help you guys out drastically. You just need to make sure your full team is full of strikers and free spirits, which is very, very easy to do. You get a full board of strength orbs, and then SABO makes strength orbs badly matching, which is so arrogant. Again, they want you to use Kaido here, so it's kind of like whatever. And then when he dies, he comes back with 100% HP. He has 80,000 damage, which is just so frustrating. And then he comes back with a 3-turn barrier at 50 million. Like, absolutely wild. What I would probably recommend doing, actually, now that I'm looking at this, just because you cop that much damage, and I actually glanced over this last time, is use some sort of damage reduction support, if I'm, like, to be real with you. So using something like Mr. 3 is going to be really, really nice, because he's going to give you that 50% damage reduction. For this particular team, we're using Bon Clay as our captain once again. The reason we have Bon Clay here is he can give us a full board of recovery orbs on the final stage, and he's our base stat booster for the first turn. On stage 2, you can basically just use the Kawamatsu special as well as the waifus. Waifus will give you this cooldown, and then Kawamatsu with the Whitey Bay will remove all the despair for you, because it will be 7 turns after sockets. He gives a chain buff as well, which is pretty nice. And then hopefully, like, just literally with these 2 specials, you should be able to kill, like, fingers and toes crossed. You should be able to kill it, but if you can't, you do have Kinemon and Dendro. Kinemon and Dendro here, I put them here just in case you need more damage on stage 2. You get a base stat boost, you get orb boost. It all works out hunky-dory with them. Their switch ability also gives resistance down to slashes. On the final stage, though, you just want to use the super typing of the waifus to remove this bind. And then to get around this orb mechanic, we're going to use the Bon Clay special to give us a full board of recovery slots. Now, I have the support of either Ivankov, if you got Ivankov, the Treasure Map Rare Recruit, or the free-to-play Jinbei. Either of those will work, as we're rocking a whole Free Spirit team. With Bon Clay, turn him into a strength unit. And if you didn't need Kinemon Dendro, make him a strength free spirit slasher. That would be the best option. And then you can use this Raizo special. Raizo is actually going to give you 2 turns of an attack boost and an orb boost, which is really, really nice for your free spirit and your shooter characters. And the reason the 2 turns is nice is because when the revive happens, you'll still have your attack and your orb boost. Then you can use the Odin to remove the 3 turns of barriers. Because it's at 50 million, this will, Mr. 3 support will help you tank damage. So, as I mentioned, pretty annoying for the accessible teams, but nevertheless, like, these characters have been out for a while. They are available on tickets, and unfortunately, like, the probably most non-accessible are something like the Bon Clay and the Koala. But in saying that as well, like, if you have Luffy, you can just put Luffy here. You could easily put Luffy here, easily put Luffy here, and then move these sort of characters down. That can absolutely work hunky-dory for you. But they're the accessible teams, or the ladder of the characters, I guess, is the best way to put it. Not including the new batch and some of the newer units from stuff like these Big Mom and Marco batch. Alright, as for the next lot of teams, I have put together a bunch of Buggy teams. Now, if you guys basically pulled everything, but you're looking at your gem count and you're like, holy crap, I'm not spending gems on this treasure map. I don't care about ranking, but I want to get as many rewards as absolutely possible. I put together a bunch of Buggy teams. All of these teams use Buggy. They all get cooldowns and it all works really, really nicely. On the Chopper stage here, I don't know how long this will last for. Unfortunately, though, Chopper seems to have... Well, there might be scaling. So, this might not work for a very long time, but nevertheless, it should work early. And if it stops working, just find Chopper on the map, target him, and then just use Big Mom to just kill him every single time. Honestly, you probably won't even need these 2 units to remove the attack down because Big Mom's going to do all the work for you. You just need to make sure you remove the barrier, so bringing the free-to-play Odin is definitely going to be a way forward. As for Shanks, we're using Shanks and Buggy, and then the headliner batch, they're designed to take this down. Special one removal with King, Threshold with Jack, and damage reduction with Queen. These units here, these 3 units, will basically all proc, because Shanks and Buggy is a strike unit. Shanks and Buggy will also be your attack booster, but you could use this X-Drake here if you have X-Drake, with the support of a kind who gives you a full board of orbs, because I'm pretty sure you get badly matching orbs on this particular fight as well. So utilizing a kind who's going to give you a full board of strength orbs, which is going to be really, really nice to get a full board of orbs, mainly just for these 4 characters right here. And that should work absolutely hunky-dory. As for the Luffy fight, you have the Buggy's Delivery. They're just a rainbow captain, which is great. They give cooldowns at the start. They do get cooldowns themselves because they're an int character. Marco and Big Mom are the characters you want to bring, as well as the Katakuri. I've just slapped Yorogue on here as an extra point booster. He's 1.35. He's a chain locker, which is kind of nice. But Marco, Big Mom, they basically cover you for all your damage. Katakuri gets around all those annoying effects, and then Big Mom's end of turn damage gets around the resilience. Hancock, Nami, and Robin is led by the Buggy's the Buggy Pirates. The characters they want you to bring here is obviously Luffy as your captains, and then bring the Zoro and the Sanji. But because we're using Luffy somewhere else, we're using Bon Clay to get around the all orbs unfavorable. You do need to get around Despair here. Now that I'm actually looking at this particular team, I don't actually have a way of getting around the Despair. Hold up. Alright, there we go. So I've just taken off the Frankie unit, and I've put on Kawamatsu with the support of Whitey Bay. That's going to remove 7 turns of Despair for you guys. Actually work absolutely fine. The whole idea here is you can just use these 2 particular characters to get around all of those nasty defects. And then use Bonchan to give you the recovery orbs. He's going to give you a base stat booster as well. You do have color affinity here. You have a chain boost. Unfortunately, that's pretty much all you have. I don't think the Buggy Pirates actually give anything special with their special. I know their switch ability gives color affinity buff, but they might be an orb booster or something like that. I don't think they are. I think they have utility. So, fortunately, this particular team is going to struggle a little bit for damage output. But let me know in the comment section below if you guys know a way just to get some more damage for this particular team to function a little bit nicer. As for the Koala team, going up against Koala, you just want to bring both the waifu units and then just the 3 new legends. It's pretty straightforward. And then just Pudding, like I mentioned, is the only character that can get around damage null, so just bring her as well. On the Sabo fight, it basically looks the same, except we're going to use ulti on the team as well. With this particular fight, we're not going to bring Odin for the barrier removal because our waifus have barrier pen. With the Perispera support, this whole team being basically strikers except for Luffy, we're basically going to hang on to a whole bunch of orbs here because Kaido is going to Kaido's going to give us a full board of what's it called? Full board of Wano slots. So that's going to be really, really strong. Yeah, the ulti unit, once we come into stage 3, we can pop her special, and hopefully we just kill in the early stages as well. But all of these teams are led by Buggy, which is great, which means you're going to have a chance of getting more drops. But unfortunately, they're not the fastest teams in the world, as obviously it's Buggy teams. So, yeah. Let's move on to my teams now, and let's take a look at the speed teams. Alright, so my teams look a little bit like this. Now, these teams are all built around speed and trying to get through it as quickly as possible. I'll hopefully be able to, going quite hard this treasure map. I do have to work 2 of the days, so I don't know exactly how well I'll rank, but I am going to be streaming, so make sure to head over to twitch.tv, link in the description below for my channel. Head over there, hit me up with the follow, and come join the fun or the bearability for some farming. So, on the chopper fight, I'm not going to be using Buggy teams, mainly because I don't know what the scaling is going to look like, but you definitely could run Buggy teams, especially if you run into chopper along the way, just to replace this Frankie unit with Buggy, and that should work absolutely fine. But you do get 8 turns of attack down, don't forget that, and using Frankie as your captain in the Frankie variation is going to allow you guys to bypass Despair, which is going to work great. So that's the game plan. The game plan here is to use Caesar turn 1, then turn 2, and then just blast away with Big Mom. Frankie and Chopper also give 1.5 times HP, which is a lot of HP, and then obviously Odin removes the barrier as well. Against Shanks, we're running the Beast Pirates. Now, obviously, the Beast Pirates, like those singularity characters of King, Queen, and Jack, are all very good for this fight. But Beast Pirates are just absolute weapons when it comes to treasure map and speed farming treasure map. So, if you start as the quick variation, on stage 1, you can switch with your friend captain, use your friend captain special to kill stage 2. And then on the final stage, switch with your Beast Pirates and then use the Beast Pirate special to just kill. Because the Beast Pirates can remove Special Bind in their... Actually, no, that won't work now that I'm thinking about it because there's damage reduction and whatnot. So, you probably just want to go switch, and then you're going to use Robin here to remove the Special Bind. Reiju, once again, she's Powerhouse, which is great. She's going to remove the damage reduction effects. We have X-Drake here. He's going to be our attack booster, as well as give us orbs, because we get badly matching orbs. But for the early stages, you're not going to need these 2 bottom units. You're just going to need Robin. You're just going to need Reiju to remove the damage reduction effects. And then if you pop the specials of the Beast Pirates, they will kill in the early stages. Once they stop killing, that's when you want to look at using something like X-Drake. X-Drake will give you full body orbs and an attack boost, and then you can kill then. It should work absolutely fine, but unfortunately, there's no real character here that can remove, like, damage reduction, threshold, and special bind to make it a little bit quicker. Onto the Luffy fight now. Against Luffy, we're running double Marco, and we're using Opera as our wave clearer. Now, the idea here is to use Opera on the first turn, Opera on the second turn, and then once we hit the final stage, we have Katakuri to remove the paralysis, give us cooldowns because we're a full fighter team, or powerhouses as well as remove the defense up. We have the resilience removal with Sanji, but the idea earlier is I think I'm going to use the Big Mom special, just like tap with Big Mom and let the end of turn damage do the rest. Marco is in our attack booster just for the later fights, but Marco's special is so freaking long that I don't know how like viable that's going to be. You can also use his super classes as well, and then like use the auto trigger to kill, but the idea is to go fast here. So let me know in the comment section below if you guys have any ideas how to make this a little bit faster as well, or if you have any opinions on, well, like, hey, Stump, that's actually going to take too long. On to Hancock, Nami, and Robin now. We are running Luffy now. This team is subject to change, because I did have Luffy over here on this team against Koala, but I was thinking that if I use Luffy on the first 2 stages, I can use him as a wave clearing mechanic, and then use Ace and Sabo to remove the Bear and the Special Bind, and that way I'll only need to use Zoro to remove the damage reduction, I'm pretty sure it is, and then I can just tap that way. I'll have a full body tandem orbs because Luffy's been locking them. He gives cooldowns, so Ace Sabo will be ready. But if that special is just taking too long, I will result to sort of taking like Luffy off, bringing Caesar over, moving Zoro onto this particular team, and then sort of changing this up a little bit. But we'll see how we go. It also depends on this particular team here against Koala. Now, against Koala, I'm running double waifus. The idea here is, because on stage 2, you get a full board of block orbs that gets locked. Pudding's actually going to remove the damage reduction, the damage null for that as well, which is great. I think you get a turn of special bind, special reverse as well. But my ideal situation here is to actually switch with Yamato and Ace. They give themselves a matching orb, which is going to be really, really handy. And then I can actually use like ulti to do damage and just sort of 2-tap with 2 units here. Because I'll have color affinity, I'll have an attack boost thanks to Pudding, and a matching orb. The idea is to just sort of 2-tap and just hopefully get through that stage without having to change the block orbs, because then when we move into the final stage, Brûlé is actually going to change those block orbs into matching for us. We can then use Kaido for an orb boost. We have the utility thanks to the waifus. And from there, we should be absolutely hunky-dory to kill. And then we have Ace Yamato if we need the attack boost at all. But I don't know if we actually will. For the SABO fight, it's pretty straightforward. Once again, we are using the 2 waifus. To get through the barrier, like we were on the Buggy stage, we're just relying on barrier pen. So make sure you bring your friend captain's limit broken, as well as having yours or its barrier pen as high as absolutely possible. Kaido's going to give you 1 orb, so you don't have to worry about the strength slots. You have an attack booster here with Ace Yamato. Ulti is a high point booster, and then Luffy's there to get around the despair, which is going to work out very, very nicely. So, alright, so before I wrap the video up, I do want to mention that you do get that death hit, the 80,000, and the waifus, they don't actually give HP. So, with versing Sabo, you could probably use Ace Yamato as your captain to get some HP buff there, but you could also use the Mr. 3 support. So, like, just be mindful of that. You could easily do that. Just be mindful that there is that death hit. I did forget about last time. I want to clarify that it is there, so be careful. there you guys go. That's my speed teams. We have the accessible teams. We have the buggy teams. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. What are you guys being running for this treasure map? How hard are you going? And let me know if you have any thoughts and opinions on how fast or how, like, what improvements and tweaks I can make to my particular teams to make my runs a little bit quicker as well. But if you did enjoy the video, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me if you're new. Hit that big red subscribe button. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later!